Om Namo Narayanaya. We are continuing the chapter today about the women of the royal harem and of the keeping of one's own wife. The following principles are laid down on this subject. The entrance of young men into harems and their exit from them generally take place when things are being brought into the palace, or when things are being taken out of it, or when drinking festivals are going on, or when the female attendants are in a hurry, or when the residence of some of the royal ladies is being changed, or when the king's wives go to the gardens or to the fairs, or when they enter the palace on the return from them, or lastly, when the king is absent on a long pilgrimage. The women of the royal harem know each other's secrets, and having but one object to attain, they give assistance to each other. A young man who enjoys all of them and who is common to them all can continue enjoying his union with them so long as it is kept quiet and is not known abroad. Now in the country of Aparatakas, the royal ladies are not well protected, and consequently many young men are passed in the harem by the women who have access to the royal palace. The wives of the king of the Ahira country accomplish their objects with those sentinels in the harem who bear the name of Kashtriyas. The royal ladies in the country of the Vatsyayana cause such men as suitable to enter into the harem along with their female messengers. In the country of the Vaidarbhas, the sons of the royal ladies enter the royal harem when they please and enjoy the women, with the exception of their own mothers. In the Stri Rajya, the wives of the king are enjoyed by his caste fellows and relations. In the Ganda country, the royal wives are enjoyed by the Brahmins, friends, servants, and slaves. In the Samdava country, servants, foster children, and other persons like them enjoy the women of the harem. In the country of the Haim Avatas, adventurous citizens bribe the sentinels and enter the harem. In the country of the Vanyas and the Kamyas, Brahmins, with the knowledge of the king, enter the harem under the pretense of giving flowers to the ladies and speak with them from behind a curtain, and from such conversation union afterwards takes place. Lastly, the women in the harem of the king of the Prakshas conceal one young man in the harem for every batch of 9 or 10 of the women. Thus acts the wives of others. For these reasons, a man should guard his own wife. Old authors say that a king should select for the sentinels in his harem such men as have their freedom from carnal desires well tested. But these men, though free from carnal desires, by reason of their fear and avarice, may cause other persons to enter the harem. And therefore Ganikaputra says that kings should place such men in the harem as may have had their freedom from carnal desires, their fear, and their avarice well tested. Lastly, Vatsyayana says that under the influence of dharma, people may be admitted, and therefore men should be selected who are free from carnal desires, fear, avarice, and dharma. The followers of Bhavarya say that a man should cause his wife to associate with a young woman who would tell him the secrets of other people, and thus find out from her about his wife's chastity. But Vatsyayana, the author of this sutra, says that as wicked persons are always successful with women, a man should not cause his innocent wife to be corrupted by bringing her into the company of deceitful women. The following are the causes of the destruction of a woman's chastity: always going into society and sitting in company, absence of restraint, the loose habits of her husband, want of caution in her relations with other men, continued and long absence of her husband, living in a foreign land, destruction of her love and feelings by her husband, the company of loose women, the jealousy of her husband. And there are also the following verses on the subject. A clever man, learning from the Shastras and the ways of winning over the wives of other people, is never deceived in the case of his own wives. No one, however, should make use of these ways for seducing the wives of others, because they do not always succeed, and moreover often cause disasters, and the destruction of dharma and artha. This book, which is intended for the good of the people and to teach them the ways of guarding their own wives, should not be made use of merely for the gain of over the wives of others. Thus ends this chapter